Have you ever stopped to look back at the heavy load you have been carrying all these years? For decades, you have been the caretaker, the provider, the anchor holding everything and everyone together. But as the seasons of life change, do you ever feel a quiet exhaustion creeping in, a sense that you are still carrying weights that no longer belong to you? Most of us believe that holding on is what makes us strong, but Buddhist wisdom offers a much gentler truth. It teaches us that true peace in our later years comes not from acquiring more, but from the beautiful, liberating art of letting go. Imagine a tree in autumn. It does not struggle to hold on to its fading leaves. It releases them gracefully, knowing that shedding the old is the only way to rest and find deep stillness. In this video, we will journey together through 7 things you no longer need to carry. We will explore how to gently lay down the outdated roles, the endless worries, and the old wounds that keep you from fully embracing the present. Join us and discover how freeing it is to simply be. 1. The role you forgot to put down. For so many years of your life, you have worn a very specific set of invisible garments. You were the provider who worked tirelessly, the caretaker who stayed awake through feverish nights, the problem solver who carried the weight of the family, and the anchor everyone clung to when the storms hit. You built your entire life around being needed, and there is a profound, undeniable beauty and deep merit in that devotion. But time, like a quiet and steady river, flows on. The children grow up and build their own homes. The long career comes to a gentle close, and the rooms of your house may suddenly feel a little too quiet. And suddenly, you find yourself standing in this new silence, still wearing those heavy garments of responsibility, feeling restless and entirely unsure of what to do next. In Buddhist teachings, there is a beautiful and famous story known as the parable of the Raft. The Buddha tells of a traveler who comes to a vast, turbulent river. To cross it, he gathers branches, binds them together, and builds a sturdy raft. With immense effort, he paddles across the rushing water and safely reaches the other shore. But upon stepping onto the beautiful, peaceful land, the traveler thinks, "This raft has served me so well. It saved my life. I cannot simply leave it behind." So, he hoists the heavy, waterlogged raft onto his shoulders and tries to walk through the dense forest, stumbling, exhausted, and burdened by the very thing that once saved him. How often do we do exactly this with the roles we have played? The role of the relentless provider or the anxious protector was your raft. It helped you navigate the difficult waters of raising a family, overcoming hardships, and ensuring everyone's survival. It served a noble, vital purpose. But now, you have reached a new shore, a season of your life that is meant for rest, reflection, and inner harvest. Yet, out of deep habit and a subtle fear of losing your identity, you continue carrying the raft on your back. You still look for people to manage, reas to avert, and situations to control. What was once your beautiful purpose has quietly turned into a heavy attachment. Buddhism offers us the liberating teaching of anatta, or non-self. It gently reminds us that we are not fixed, unchanging entities. You are not your job title. You are not solely your parental duties. And you are not the endless list of tasks you can accomplish for others. A role is simply a character we perform on the temporary stage of life. It is not the ultimate truth of our soul. As the Zen saying goes, when the shoe fits, the foot is forgotten. When the ego is released, the true self is found. When we cling to the desperate need to be needed, we invite suffering into our later years. We feel lost, empty, or undervalued when the phone doesn't ring as often, or when our grown children make their own mistakes without asking for our advice. But letting go of the caretaker role does not mean you are no longer loved, nor does it erase the magnificent legacy of care you have built. It simply means your shift of constant doing has ended. It is time to learn the art of simply being. So, I invite you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself this profoundly gentle question. Who are you when no one needs rescuing today? If you strip away the familiar titles, mother, father, boss, provider, fixer, what is left underneath, beneath the layers of doing? There is a quiet, radiant presence. And that presence is entirely enough. You no longer need to earn your place on this earth by constantly carrying the weight of the world. You are allowed to set the heavy raft down on the soft riverbank, stretch your tired shoulders, and simply walk freely into the peaceful forest of your own life. 2. The worry you mistake for love. There is a quiet, the hidden belief that many of us carry in our hearts. As we grow older, we believe that worrying is the ultimate proof of our love. We spend our days anxiously thinking about our grown children, fretting over our grandchildren's futures, and lying awake at night calculating the risks of our own fading health. We secretly feel that if we stop worrying, even for a moment, we are somehow abandoning the people we cherish most. We use worry as a shield, hoping that our anxious thoughts can magically protect our loved ones from the inherent uncertainties of the world. But Buddhist wisdom invites us to look deeper into this heavy emotion. Is worry truly love? Or is it simply the mind's desperate attempt to control what love can never control? Imagine holding a handful of dry, fine sand. If you rest your hand openly and softly, the sand remains peacefully in your palm. But the moment you become afraid of losing it, the moment you clench your fist tightly to secure it, the sand slips through your fingers, escaping the very grip that tried to contain it. Worry acts in the exact same way. It is a tightening of the heart. It often disguises itself as care, but at its core, it is rooted in fear and attachment. There is a beautiful story of a devoted mother who came to a wise Buddhist master, her face etched with deep exhaustion. She wept, saying, "Master, my mind never rests. I worry endlessly about my children. I worry about their safety, their choices, and their happiness. I love them so much that the fear of them suffering is destroying my own peace." The master smiled gently and pointed to a magnificent, ancient tree in the courtyard. "Look at that tree," he said softly. "It provides shade, it offers shelter, and its roots hold the soil firm. When the storm comes, it does not frantically try to hold onto its leaves, nor does it try to shield the birds in its branches from every drop of rain. It simply stands strong, offering a safe place to return to. You are trying to be the wind, attempting to control the direction of your children's flight. Instead, be the tree. Offer them your deep roots and your unwavering shade. but let them fly. Through the profound teaching of Anicca, or impermanence, Buddhism teaches us that the nature of life is constant, unpredictable change. We cannot freeze time, nor can we pave a perfectly smooth road for those we love, entirely free of obstacles. Hardships, mistakes, and challenges are the very soil from which their own wisdom will grow. When we constantly worry, we are subtly declaring that we do not trust their journey, and we do not trust the natural unfolding of life. We must learn the delicate art of separating compassionate action from anxious attachment. Compassionate action is making a warm phone call, offering a listening ear, or giving wise counsel when asked. It is loving deeply in the present moment. Anxious attachment, however, is agonizing over their tomorrow. As the revered Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh so beautifully said, "You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free." Constant worry is an invisible weight we place upon their shoulders, and an exhausting burden we place upon our own. Releasing this worry does not mean you have stopped caring or become indifferent. It means you have elevated your love to a higher, purer state. It means you understand that you are not the sole architect of your loved one's destinies. So, tonight, when the familiar shadows of worry begin to creep into your mind, gently pause. Take a deep, conscious breath. Visualize the people you love, and instead of sending them your fear, silently offer them a blessing. May you be safe. May you find your way. And may you have the strength to handle whatever life brings. Love deeply. Act where you can. And then, with a peaceful heart, release what was never yours to control. 3. The wounds you keep returning to. As we walk the long, winding road of life, we all gather a quiet collection of invisible scars. Some of these wounds were incredibly unfair, deeply painful, and perhaps caused by the very people who were supposed to protect us. It is a heavy truth of the human experience that we are sometimes hurt without reason and without apology. The pain you felt in those moments was entirely real, and your grief was completely justified. But as the years pass, a quiet tragedy often unfolds within us. The actual event may have ended 10, 20, or 30 years ago, yet the mind continues to vividly replay it. We wake up in the middle of the night having the same silent arguments. We feel the same tightness in our chest, the same burning resentment. The person who hurt us has long since left the room, but we have built a home for them inside our minds. In the Salatha Sutta, the Buddha shared a profoundly compassionate teaching to explain this very human tendency. He asked his disciples, "If a person is struck by an arrow, is it painful?" The disciples nodded, answering that yes, it would be terribly painful. The Buddha then asked, "If the person is struck by a second arrow in the exact same spot, is it even more painful?" Again, they agreed. The Buddha gently explained, "In life, we cannot always avoid the first arrow. The first arrow is the painful event itself, the betrayal, the loss, the harsh word, but the second arrow is our reaction to it. It is our anger, our resentment, and our endless reliving of the memory. The profound tragedy is that while life shoots the first arrow, it is we ourselves who shoot the second, third, and thousandth arrow into our own hearts. Every single time we refuse to let the past rest, There is a famous Zen story that perfectly illustrates this. Two monks, Tansan and Ekido, were walking down a muddy road in heavy rain. They came to a crossing and saw a young woman in a silk kimono, unable to cross because of the deep mud. Without a word, Tansan gently picked her up, carried her across the water, and set her down safely on the other side. The monks continued their journey in silence. Hours later, unable to hold it in any longer, Ekido burst out in anger. "We are monks. We are not supposed to go near women, let alone touch them. Why did you do that?" Tansan looked at his friend with a soft, compassionate smile and replied, "Brother, I left that woman by the river hours ago. Are you still carrying her? How many people, how many old arguments, and how many past hurts are you still carrying on your back today?" We often hold on to resentment because we deeply misunderstand what forgiveness means. We believe that if we forgive, we are somehow saying that what happened was acceptable. We fear that forgiving means we must welcome the person back into our lives, or erase the boundary we have drawn for our own safety. But true Buddhist forgiveness is not for the other person at all. Forgiveness simply means refusing to give the past unlimited access to the precious life you still have. It is unclenching your hands from the hot coal of anger, realizing that, as the Buddha taught, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. You have already survived the first arrow. You do not deserve the pain of the second. As you enter this beautiful, later chapter of your life, your energy and your time are far too sacred to be spent in the shadows of old pain. Today, I invite you to gently exhale, acknowledge the wound, honor the pain it caused, but finally, set it down. Leave it by the river. It is time to step into the sunlight of the present moment, unburdened and truly free. 4. The body you declared an enemy. There is a very quiet, almost unspoken grief that often arrives with the passing years. It happens in the slow, quiet mornings when your joints ache before you even rise from bed. Or in the fleeting moment, you catch your reflection in the mirror and wonder where the boundless energy of your youth has gone. Without realizing it, many of us begin to treat our aging bodies as an enemy. We become deeply frustrated by our new limitations. We remember the mountains we used to climb without losing our breath, the heavy loads we carried effortlessly, the days we pushed ourselves to the brink of exhaustion without a single complaint from our physical form. Now, when pain, weakness, or fatigue arise, our first reaction is often anger or a sense of betrayal. We silently demand, "Why can't you be what you once were?" But in this fierce resistance, we create a profound layer of unnecessary suffering. The physical limitation is the reality, but the anger and frustration are our resistance to it. We find ourselves fighting a war against time and impermanence, a war that no human being has ever won. In the Buddhist texts, there is a deeply moving story of an elderly man named Nakulapita. He was frail, his body failing him, and he came to the Buddha seeking comfort for his physical miseries. The Buddha looked at this weary traveler of life with immense compassion and said, "It is true, householder, that your body is weak and encumbered. For one carrying this body around to claim even a moment of absolute health would be foolish. Therefore, you should train yourself like this. Even though my body is sick, My mind shall not be sick. What a profound and gentle shift. The Buddha did not promise him a miraculous cure, nor did he tell him to ignore the pain. He simply taught him to stop letting the changing condition of the physical body dictate the peace of the inner spirit. In Buddhism, acceptance is never a defeat. It is not giving up or surrendering to despair. It is simply the courage to look at reality clearly, without the heavy filter of our demands and expectations, so that we can respond with wisdom rather than anger. Think of a magnificent, weathered ship that has sailed across countless oceans. It has endured brutal storms, navigated through turbulent waters, and brought you safely to the peaceful shores of your later years. Would you be angry at this loyal ship for having scraped paint, a slower pace, and creaking wood? No. You would look at it with profound reverence and deep gratitude. Your body is that incredibly loyal ship. It has breathed millions of breaths for you, healed from countless illnesses, endured stress, and carried you through every single joy and sorrow you have ever known. It has not betrayed you. It is simply following the universal law of Anicca, or impermanence. It is just tired, and it is asking for your grace. So, the next time you feel a pang of pain or a wave of fatigue, I invite you to gently lay down your weapons. Stop comparing the body you have today to the ghost of the body you had 20 years ago. Instead of speaking to your physical form with frustration, speak to it with the gentleness of Mettā, or loving kindness. Place your hand softly over the ache. Take a slow, deep breath, and change the question. Instead of asking, "Why can't you do what you used to do?" ask, "What does this precious body need from me right now?" Perhaps it needs rest. Perhaps it needs a slower walk, a gentler touch, a warmer meal, or simply your forgiveness. Embrace this stage of life with compassion. Your body is no longer a machine built for endless labor and expectation. It is a sacred, quiet temple, and it deserves to be treated with nothing but deep, unconditional love. 5. The need to still be right. There is a very delicate, almost invisible transition that happens as the years go by. You may notice it at a busy family dinner table, or during a casual conversation with your grown children. You offer a piece of advice, forged in the fires of your own hard-earned life experience, and it is quickly, perhaps casually, brushed aside. You are corrected about a modern fact, or a significant decision is made without anyone asking for your counsel. In that quiet moment, a sharp sting of hurt can arise. This pain is rarely just about wanting to win an argument. If we look closely, being ignored or dismissed awakens a much deeper, hidden fear in the human heart. Do I still matter? Am I still visible? Or am I slowly fading away? To protect ourselves from this painful feeling of irrelevance, we often armor up. We argue a little louder. We insist on having the last word. We firmly demand the respect we feel we have rightfully earned. But Buddhist psychology reveals something profoundly illuminating about this struggle. It introduces us to the concept of Māna, often translated as conceit, pride, or the measuring mind. Māna is the ego's exhausting habit of constantly measuring our worth by how much respect, agreement, or recognition we receive from the outside world. The Buddha taught that as long as we are caught in the web of Māna, we will always suffer, because we are placing the keys to our happiness in the pockets of other people. When our peace depends entirely on being validated, we mistakenly tie our true point, inner dignity, to external applause. Consider a gentle story often shared in Zen traditions. An old, revered tea master was watching his young, eager apprentice try to brew a complex, delicate tea. The apprentice was rushing, skipping vital steps, and the tea was clearly becoming bitter. The old master gently suggested, "Perhaps lower the temperature of the water and pour more slowly." The young apprentice, full of youthful pride and impatience, replied, "I have read the new books, Master. I know exactly what I am doing." Did the old master argue? Did he feel his decades of mastery were suddenly worthless just because a young man refused his guidance? No. He simply smiled, stepped back, poured his own cup of tea, and sat in absolute peace. He understood a fundamental truth: a gift offered, even if it is refused, does not lose its intrinsic value. We can think of our own wisdom like a beautiful lighthouse on a rocky shore. The sole purpose of a lighthouse is simply to shine. It stands tall, offering its guiding light to the dark, open waters. If a passing ship decides to ignore the beam and steer its own course into the storm, the lighthouse does not grow angry. It does not run after the ship to force it to sea. And most importantly, the light of the lighthouse does not become one bit less bright. Your life experience is that light. Your wisdom does not shrink, disappear, or lose its profound value simply because someone else chooses not to follow it. People, especially younger generations, must sail their own ships and navigate their own storms. They must make their own mistakes to cultivate their own wisdom, just as you once did. True dignity in our later years does not come from winning every debate, correcting others, or forcing the world to acknowledge our presence. Real dignity begins when you realize you no longer have to prove your worth to anyone. So, the next time your words are ignored or your advice is politely declined, take a deep, gentle breath. Let go of the heavy, exhausting need to be right. Smile with the grace of the old tea master, knowing that your light is as bright as ever. Release the burden of seeking approval and allow yourself to rest in the beautiful, quiet freedom of simply being at peace with yourself. Asiks, the self you forgot to come back for. If you were asked right now, in this very moment, what brings you deep, profound joy, how long would it take you to find the answer? For many of us, the answer is buried beneath decades of beautiful, selfless devotion to others. You have spent the prime of your life pouring your time, energy, and love into the cups of your spouse, your children, your aging parents, your career, and your community. You have been the faithful caretaker of everyone else's dreams. But in the noble process of making sure everyone else was warm, fed, and safe, a quiet tragedy slowly unfolded. You forgot to come back for yourself. Somewhere along the way, you became a stranger to your own heart. In the ancient Buddhist texts, the Udana, there is a deeply illuminating conversation between King Pasenadi and his wife. The wise Queen Mollica, the king, perhaps hoping for a romantic affirmation, asked her, "Is there anyone in this entire world dearer to you than yourself?" The queen, rooted in deep honesty, softly replied, "No, great king. There is no one dearer to me than myself." When the king later shared this conversation with the Buddha, he might have expected the Buddha to correct her. Instead, the Buddha smiled in agreement and spoke a profound truth, searching all directions with one's awareness. One finds no one dearer than oneself. Because each person is so dear to themselves, one who loves himself should never harm another. The Buddha was teaching us that true, boundless love must always begin at home, within your own spirit. In the traditional Buddhist practice of Mettā, or loving kindness meditation, we do not start by blessing the world. The very first blessing is always, inevitably, for the self. We are taught to place our hands over our own hearts and silently repeat, "May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be at peace." For years, you may have mistakenly believed that prioritizing yourself was an act of selfishness. But Buddhism reminds us that you cannot endlessly draw pure, refreshing water from a well that has run completely dry. Neglecting your own joy is a form of self-harm. Think of a devoted songbird that has spent its entire life flying back and forth, tirelessly gathering twigs to build secure nests for others, fetching food for its fledglings, and guarding the tree against harsh storms. One day, the nests are empty. The fledglings have flown away to build their own lives, and the forest is quiet. The bird sits alone on the branch and suddenly realizes that, in all those years of labor, it has forgotten how to sing its own song. It is time to remember your song. Returning to yourself does not require a dramatic, overwhelming reinvention of your life. You do not need to travel to a distant monastery or completely change who you are. The journey back to your own soul is made of small, gentle, and intentional moments of grace. It begins with one quiet hour in the early morning that belongs only to you. It is drinking a warm cup of tea without mentally listing the chores you need to do. It is opening a book you want to read. Taking a slow, aimless walk in the afternoon sun, or simply sitting in silence and asking your heart, "What do you need today?" You have spent your entire life being incredibly useful. You have been a tool of comfort, a pillar of strength, and a relentless problem solver. But hear this, gentle, liberating truth. You were not born into this beautiful, fleeting world merely to be useful. You are a human being, not a human doing. You are here to experience the warmth of the sun, to feel joy, to rest, and to be vividly, unapologetically alive. Today, take a deep, soothing breath. Reach out your hand to the precious self you left behind so many years ago, and warmly whisper, "Welcome home." 7. The someday you keep saving peace for. How often do we find ourselves silently repeating the word someday? We whisper to our tired hearts, someday. When the house is finally quiet, I will rest. Someday, when my health stabilizes, I will be happy. Someday, when my family's problems are completely resolved, I will finally allow myself to breathe. Without realizing it, we treat our inner peace like a fragile, expensive set of fine china, locked away in a dark cabinet, waiting for a perfect special occasion that never quite arrives. We spend decades living in the waiting room of our own lives. The mind is a master of conditional promises. It constantly convinces us that tranquility is a distant destination, a peaceful meadow we will only reach once we have solved every problem and tied up every loose end. But if you look back at the long, beautiful, and complex tapestry of your life, has there ever been a time entirely free of worry? Has there ever been a season without a burden to carry or a storm to weather? Life is inherently unpredictable and beautifully imperfect. If we wait for the winds to completely stop before we allow ourselves to be at peace, we will spend our entire lives waiting in the shadows. There is a legendary Zen parable that captures the profound urgency of living in the present. A traveler was walking across a wild plain when he was suddenly chased by a fierce tiger. Running to the edge of a steep cliff, he caught hold of a thick vine and swung himself over the edge, dangling in the air. Above him, the tiger roared. Looking down, he saw another tiger waiting patiently at the bottom of the ravine. To make matters worse, two small mice, one black, one white, started to slowly gnaw on the very vine he was clinging to. In this incredibly dangerous, imperfect moment, the traveler noticed a single, luscious wild strawberry growing from a crevice in the cliffside right beside him. Holding onto the vine with one hand, he gently plucked the strawberry with the other and placed it in his mouth. How incredibly sweet it tasted. In this story, the tiger above is our past, chasing us with its heavy regrets. The tiger below is our future, waiting with inevitable uncertainties. The black and white mice are the days and nights of our lives, slowly ticking away. We are all, in one way or another, hanging on that vine. If the traveler had waited for the tigers to leave and the mice to stop chewing before he allowed himself to enjoy the strawberry, he would have missed his life entirely. In his final, fading moments on this earth, the Buddha did not ask his disciples to build monuments or write grand philosophies. His very last teaching was a call to practice, appamada. This beautiful, profound word translates to spiritual diligence or heedfulness. It is the practice of not wasting the living, breathing present while waiting for better conditions. It is a gentle but urgent reminder from the awakened one. Do not sleepwalk through your remaining years, waiting for a flawless someday. You do not need a perfect past to be peaceful today. You do not need endless time, a different body, or a problem-free family to begin experiencing deep joy. Peace is not a reward you receive when your life is finally perfect. It is a practice you choose amidst the beautiful, messy reality of exactly what is happening right now. The only moment in which you can stop postponing your life is the one you are living and breathing in right now. So, I gently invite you, stop waiting. Please take out the good china for a simple Tuesday morning. Enjoy the sweet taste of the strawberry while the storm still gently blows. Do not waste your precious, remaining years saving your peace for a someday that does not exist. Reclaim the profound, quiet beauty of this very moment, because this moment is, and always has been, your true home. As we reach the end of this journey together, take a moment to look at the invisible backpack you have been carrying for so many years. The outdated roles, the anxious worries, the old wounds, the exhausting need for approval, and the endless waiting for a perfect tomorrow, these are not who you are. They were simply heavy stones you picked up along the way, genuinely believing you needed them to survive and protect the ones you love. But the autumn of your life is not a time for carrying stones. It is a beautiful season for shedding leaves. It is a sacred time to travel light, to forgive yourself, and to rest in the warm, quiet glow of all that you have survived and achieved. You have already done the hard work. You have cared. You have provided. And you have loved deeply. Now, the most profound thing you can do for the world, and for yourself, is to finally be at peace. If these words brought a moment of stillness to your day, please consider gently subscribing to our channel, so we may continue walking this peaceful path together. We would also love to hear from you in the comments below. Which of these 7 burdens are you finally ready to set down today? Thank you for sharing your precious time with us. May your heart be light. May your mind be calm. And may you find deep, unwavering peace in the beautiful reality of right now.